guys, how's it going? Today we are going to be working on our kitchen entrance. We're going to be sprucing it up a bit for the holidays. You can see I still have some fall elements out, which I've really enjoyed this little grouping. Of course, like the peppers haven't been looking good for a while because it got cold enough to sort of make the leaves look bad. But they still had some orange color, so I left them. The kale right here, the chickens completely decimated that one a long time ago, so it's been looking like that for a while. We've got, a fall grass. Well, it's not a fall grass. It looks like fall grass right now because it's kind of fall colors. We'll plant that out in the landscape somewhere. And we've got the lit tree here that we will swap for something else that's lit, but not with the orange leaves. And we'll do a little something around the door, I think. We've got the chickens here with us today. Well, a few of them. I don't know where the rest of them are. And Douglas. Douglas, kitty. Douglas. Hey, bud. Let's see if he takes a swipe at me. You want some pets, bud? Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Oh, we're in a pleasant mood today. Very nice. Anyway, I'll show you what I've got in the back of the gator. We've got some garland. We've got some lit trees that I've had forever. They came from Plow and Hearth like years ago, and I hope they work still. Every year I hope they work. Well, and I guess nothing really looks like much back here. Everything's still covered. So these three here are the trees, and they're just branches with lights on them. And then we've got some garland right here. And then I've got these snowflakes that I might figure out how to use somewhere. They're all wrapped with these copper wire fairy lights. So it'd be a really pretty lit element for a garland maybe if I clustered some of these in a corner. I just don't know. We'll probably go dig up a wreath up in the loft too. I've got some wreaths up there. I can't remember from year to year. I know I've got some red berries, like very bright red berry wreaths. I've got some faux wreaths. I might wait to make a wreath. I don't know. I did pop these two little trees out last night. Samantha and I worked on this. They've got little flickering lights, which is so fun. They just like twinkle gently. I think I need to straighten that one up a little bit. But you guys, my sister-in-law picked these up for me at a yard sale for like $15 each. Oh, probably... Like, how long have we been married? Over 19 years now. So I bet you I've had these for 15, 16 years, maybe even longer than that. And original lights that they came with. There's a couple of dark spots in each one of the trees though, but because most of the lights work, we plugged them in and I ordered a couple extra strands just to kind of twist into the tree, and hopefully they semi-match the color that we've got going on in here. But I think that's super fun. So I think the first order of business is going to be to clear out everything in here that I know we're not going to utilize, like the fall pillow, all the fall elements and the plants that I don't want to keep up here. Because while the carex down here and the acarus look good right now, they won't once it starts getting really super duper cold. So I'll probably pot those up and put them in the greenhouse like we've done with a few other things that have come out of pots so far this fall. That way they'll stay a little bit more protected and we can get something in here that'll be really pretty. Okay, so let's start the clearing process. Before we get any further though, I do need to go grab the blower so we can clean off the area that I just messed up, and I need to go grab some boxwoods so we can decide if we want to keep all of these pots here or if we want to rearrange, maybe pop the chair out and scoot everything. I don't know. Got all the fall stuff cleared out, brought over some boxwoods. I love all the boxwood interest right here. I think it's so pretty. And we'll top dress all of those with pine cones. 5 out of the 6 of these boxwoods are the Freedom variety. So these 2 here and then the 3 on the left there. They grow if they're in the ground about 4 feet tall by 3.5 feet wide, and they are a zone 5 through 8. This one right here, I wish I had a small one of the Freedom. This is a green velvet, and it's looking a little weary. It's been in a container all season long. Has some hard water damage, and it's not as brilliant green as these, but that's okay. We're going to go with it because I still wanted a small container down here to kind of finish this trio. And I very much so considered kind of eliminating all of the stuff under the window and just making a little display right here. But it's kind of hard to do anything tall here because we do have a little, you know, our doorbell thing, and then it gets in the way of the door and all of that business. So I wanted to keep this area a little bit more slim, I guess, with just the garland. And then being able to put the trees over here kind of breaks up this wall space right here now that we don't have our window box. I don't know how many of you guys remember when we had window boxes along the whole bottom of the house. Oh my goodness. They were a chore and a half to keep filled. There was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them all together. And we always tried to have them coordinate, or at least the ones on the same side of the house coordinate. And to plan for that and then have seasonal changes, it was just a lot. It was a lot, and they were hard to water because there's no water all the way up to the house because it's concrete. So we tried to run drip at one point with the 1/4 inch, and it was great at the very beginning on the other side, but once it reached over here, it barely was dripping. So we had to do a lot of hand watering, and yeah. So all that said, it's nice to have some things in here, and we do use this chair. I think Douglas uses it more than anybody. He loves to sleep there, but we use it if we've got muddy shoes. You know, we kind of tend to just kick our shoes off right here, and then we'll come out and put them on, and we have a place to sit to do that. And I do need to get a blanket. I want to get a little throw blanket that's got more red, and I think we'll incorporate possibly some red in with the garland. But you can see on this side, I've got another one of the trees, and I only wanted to do one because we've got our grill here. Also need to kind of keep it a little bit clear. I also thought about getting a container and putting another boxwood on this side, but I think it would just be too much for this spot. So we're just going to stick with this and just see, like, maybe I can puddle some kind of something around the base to make it look like a tree skirt. I don't know. I don't even think that's necessary. Okay, so our next step is to get the garland up around the door. Should we put some around the window? That might be too much. I've got garland on the inside with lights, and at night you can really see it. Right now there's a lot of glare, so you can't, but maybe we'll just stick with the door. Let's get that done. Here is our garland. They're cedar garlands. This is the kind I typically use on our balcony and around doors. It's got a nice drape to it. And I've already got hooks up above the door. There are 3 of them, so I just take paddle wire and tie them off to the hooks and then tie them off to this, and we're usually pretty good with that. Then we'll have to decide if we want lights around that in addition to the trees. Yes. This is 22 gauge paddle wire right here, and I'm going to go ahead and attach the pieces of wire to my hooks before I take my garland up there. Always makes the process a little bit easier. Ooh, it's a long one. Okay. So now that I have it up, I'm actually going to cut it right here because this garland is all made one direction. So you can come up one side and go across the top beautifully, but when it starts cruising down the other way, all the pieces want to lay all wonky. So I like to cut it and flip it the other direction so that everything kind of points down. Another quick update, I think we're close to being done, at least for today. Got the garland around the door. I love that look. Oh, it's so pretty. And then I decided to try the snowflakes, and only 2 of the 4 were working when I got them down here, but that might be just enough. You know, with our lights inside on the garland and then the trees, I wonder if having lights in the garland would be too much and would be distracting from the tree. Plus, we've got lights on the house right above us, and that's why I say we're close to being done, at least for today, because it's possible we might come in and add a few extra lights. But I think that these are just so pretty. I bought these at Joann's years ago. I've used them several different times in different applications. And Paul and Bethany about, 3-4 years ago, wrapped each one of these with the fairy lights. And we had them hanging in a tree that was so pretty. And then the year after that, I used them at my sister-in-law's house. I had them kind of like hanging out of pots and kind of like propped up in the pots. And they were so beautiful. When was that? That was 2 years ago, I think. Was that 2 years ago? I can't remember. Maybe we didn't use them last year. So anyway, 2 out of the 4 are working, but that might be just enough along with the trees up here. But what I would like to try, other than getting pine cones on the tops of these pots, which we're still going to do, I've got this bright red ribbon, and I thought, wouldn't it be beautiful to maybe do a bow that's got some longer tails that we can kind of curve around the front part just to bring a pop of color right here, and it would kind of tie into the pillow, which I chose the cardinal pillow for Benjamin's benefit. He hasn't seen it yet, but he will love that. And I'm going to go get a little red or Christmas-esque throw pillow. Cats, be nice. So that element won't be done today either, but I'll show it to you when we're all done with everything around here. We'll probably do a tour. So I don't know, we'll give this a shot and see what we think. Okay, so do we go traditional, just, two loop bow, or do we do like a great big floral bow? I don't know, we might have to try a couple times, but I'm gonna leave some longer tails like that. This is not double-sided ribbon, so one side is kind of velvety and the other side is not, but it is wired. So it almost doesn't matter what your bow looks like when you're making it. In the end, you can fluff it and manipulate it and bend it whichever way you want. Kind of takes the intimidation factor out of making bows. I think it's gonna have to be multi-looped. So I've done one loop here, and then I twist the ribbon to where the back side shows. And then I make my next loop. I'll probably not make this process look easy at all, but it's not too bad, I promise. Okay, so we loop that back, pinch it, gonna twist again, and do the same thing back and forth until we have as many loops as we want. Oh, I'm getting myself all sorts of jammed up here. Okay, I've got 6 loops so far, and I'm going to do a couple of smaller ones so that I can kind of fluff them around the front of the bow in the end. So I'm just holding on to it right in the center. None of it is connected yet. So I need to grab a piece of paddle wire, which I should have pre-cut if I was thinking. Make it kind of long. You'd rather have too much. Trust me. And we're just gonna flip this around the back side of the ribbon and to the front. You want to pull it pretty darn tight, and then we just twist. Twist that wire. Now we can fluff. We can wire in extra tails or extra loops too at this point, if you feel like it's not full enough. Okay, something like this. I don't know. Let's pop it up there, see what it looks like. I think I might need to add more tails, 2 more that are shorter. You know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. We can always cut them out. Okay, so I've got my second piece here. I'm just gonna wire it right to the back. Big old giant bow. This better bring the pop I'm looking for. Chicken, what are you doing? That's paper, chicken. It's not food. Did you eat it? Oh no. Okay. Hey, you don't run away from me with that in your mouth. That's not food, chicken. That's paper. All right, guys, got the ribbon done, and it was a fussy business, let me tell you. With those snowflakes up here in the corner, boy, it was hard to avoid those and not cover them completely. So it's a little bit wonky if you look at it too closely. I will forever be grateful to the inventor of wired ribbon, though. Oh my goodness. It does make it easier, like for the bow on top right there, to kind of like smush some of the loops that were a little bit too big and just kind of manipulate it a little bit. But I do like the brightness that it brought, especially once we get a little throw blanket here and probably a Christmas mat. I had this one on hand, so it works for now. It's a nice mat because the one I had here, it said boo on it for Halloween, so I had to take that away once Halloween was over, and I didn't have a real Christmassy mat to put down, and not that it matters that much. We can just leave it that way, but if I happen upon one that's got some red in it, I think that would kind of tie everything together and make it look pretty. So we're going to go grab some pine cones for these planters, and then also we need to plant that ornamental grass that came out of one of those pots. Man. All right, guys, we got it done for today. We'll have to check it out at night just to see what kind of light situation we have here, but I think it's gonna be plenty. And I love the evergreens, just a no fuss sort of situation. And it's the kind of arrangement, the one plant in a pot, that I'll want to keep going forward too. So that's not ones that I'm gonna wanna clear out for spring. I'll just wanna pop these around and use them just like this. So again, we will look for a red throw blanket, which I think will help out tremendously to add a little bit more color, and then a Christmas mat as well. I didn't really have my act together for this project. I probably should have waited till I had all my supplies together, but sometimes I don't know exactly what I'm going to run into in a project. I kind of knew that I wanted to bring boxwoods out. I kind of knew I wanted to bring the sparkly lit trees, but I wasn't sure. So sometimes you just have to get into it and then let it evolve over the season as you find things when you're out and about. Okay, let's go take that. It's a hot rod panicum, I think, is what I planted in that pot. Let's take that out to the garden and get it planted. Pillows I didn't use. All right, here's our grass. Oh, it turned the most beautiful color this fall. We just really enjoyed it, and I think it would look pretty out here somewhere. Got a really long arm on this rose, but I'm thinking if we cut that off and put the grass right in there, we need to start building on the back side of this flower bed. The front side is done and it looks really pretty. Well, kind of done. There's a few holes I need to fill in, but this spot you can see we just had annuals in here and just haven't really done a lot to develop it. And this one will grow like 3 to 4 feet tall and about 2 feet wide. So it's a really easy one to pop in. They do like a full sun spot, which this is currently is. I think it will be for a while. We have a honey locust here and birch trees here, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to actually shade this spot because this is the west exposure, so it'll get more shade from the roses than anything else. But this is a grass that my dad, he just kept mentioning this name. He's like, if you ever run across hot rod, you should plant it. It's so pretty. So I found it on an availability this summer and got some in. And I think, let's see, we planted a couple over there by our new arbor. We've got this one. Did I plant a couple others in containers? I can't remember, but they're out and about in the garden now. This is what was in my gator, and there's only a little bit at the bottom of the bag, so this is what I'm going to use. Ooh, water got in that bag. during our last rainstorm. Ugh. Just cut the bottom of the root ball off because it's pretty root bound down there. Oh gosh, it feels good to be out here planting stuff. I feel like the only thing I've planted lately are bulbs. Worst. Oh, that looks good. All done. Doesn't that look good right there? And we'll just continue to build. So we've got Cat's Meow, Nepeta, I think, or is that Cat's Pajamas? Maybe that one's Cat's Pajamas. It stays a little smaller. We've got the Rise Up Amber Nest Roses right here. There's a Red Obelisk Beech, Red Twig, the Arctic Fire, Red Twig Dogwoods look absolutely stunning. Oh my gosh. I cannot recommend this shrub more. They've clearly loved their lives right here. And then just across the walkway, we've got all the beautiful Invincibelle Sublimes. I love how they look in the fall. I love that luminescent yellow. I think they're so pretty. They're roofing over there today, that new house that's being built. That one's gone up so fast. It's been amazing to kind of watch the progress. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for our project today. I'm really happy with how everything turned out, mostly because I used a lot of the things that I already had on hand. I had the boxwoods here and the pots and the twinkly trees and the snowflakes, that sort of thing. Of course, I ordered the garland. I usually pick those up at Home Depot, but my mom was putting it in an order at the wholesale floral place where we usually order our magnolia and seeded eucalyptus and things like that, and they happened to have them, and I thought, oh, that's perfect, let's just get it in that order. So that's where mine came from, but it's identical, exactly the same thing. And then we'll see how things shape up in that area by the time we go around and kind of take a look at everything later on. So we still have the balcony and the portico. I don't think I'm going to do much around the formal front door. We still need to do our mantle, which is always a little bit of a question mark for me. I landed on those two little Christmas trees. I've done them twice now, I think, where I get like living Christmas trees and put them in pots and do little ornaments on them. And I love that look so much that I kind of want to do it again, but I don't want to get stuck in a rut either. I want to try out new things, so I'm still deliberating on that one. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're having a great day, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.